Hey guys, and welcome to the show. Today I'm here with
Logan,
and we have some really nice topics to talk about today. Are you ready, Logan?
I'm absolutely ready. By the way, my name is Qain. On today's topics.
Huawei versus Google. Well, as you might know, a lot of people are saying Huawei is quote unquote watching or spying on us.
They're saying it's a conspiracy, Mo.
Yes, it is. It might be. We don't have any proofs of that. But to be honest, it's kind of sad to see such a huge brand get bent over so hard, like from the US and yeah.
If I have to be honest, I think it's because they're scared of Huawei. I think because Huawei, they're doing so well. They're being very competitive in the market. They're delivering quality products at a really, really low price. And I just think like companies that are local, like Apple and whoever else is left in America, they're just being hammered by now.
Yes, to beat the competition, they are trying to remove it. Basically, like they can't buy Huawei.
They can't.
So they have to kind of find some ways to
simply push them out of the game.
Which is kind of sad because like the quality from their phones are really, really nice and
they're astoundingly good.
Absolutely, and like the saddest part is like the phone market actually needs that competition because you know it's good to be innovating, like it's good to be pushing the limits of the phone because right now Apple isn't pushing anything. Like they've been doing the same thing for all these years. We need a new leader in the market, like some, for example, Huawei or Samsung that really wants to innovate the market.
Every time Apple comes up with something and they're like, look what we made, and everyone just eats it raw, and everyone in the Android land is like, well, we had it for 2 years, where the hell were you guys?
Yeah. and again, this is Huawei versus Google. So Google is having a hard time right now because they kind of want to work with Huawei, but they can't because of the US government when it comes to some sanctions against Huawei or China. So right now they have they're limited to what they can do, but I've heard some rumors that they actually read something about this yesterday that said they are most likely gonna be able to come back again.
Well, they're already doing some kind of underhanded thing because they're starting to deploy 5G antennas in the US, and I don't know how this is working out for them.
No, I don't know either. But I've heard like some companies can get licenses from the government to work with Chinese companies.
Yeah, which is weird because now both the Chinese companies are starting to get sanctioned from even interacting with the US by the Chinese government, and the same thing is happening, you know, of course, with Google being banned from cooperating with Huawei. But how this kind of alliance is still happening, it feels so underhanded to me. It's like some money is good, but some money isn't.
I really hope that they find a way because I myself really like Huawei.
Me too.
I've been Samsung fanboy for a lot of years now, but
me and Sony.
I actually dropped the Note 10, so like the Note 10 Plus for to buy the Mate 30 Pro, but it didn't come to Europe, which is so sad.
Why don't we talk a bit about a Mate 30, because that is one hell of a phone.
Oh yeah,
baby.
That phone is really, really nice. Like what I love with Huawei is like they really want to push the edge with the battery and the cameras.
Yeah, especially the cameras.
Especially the cameras. Like you can sit in the dark with Huawei cameras. Like I like. For every person nowadays, the two most important pieces of a phone is the camera and the battery.
Absolutely.
And Huawei has been scoring really, really great with that.
Oh yeah. Now there is one thing about the Mate 30. I believe it doesn't have access to the Google Play Store.
No, it doesn't. In Europe or China or wherever, it doesn't because Google has. They're not allowed to use the Google apps.
So what does that mean for you? Because I know you were very enamored by this phone.
To be honest, doesn't mean much for me because I just want to buy it because then you can just download the APKs, the files.
Okay, that still works.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's basically it. That's the only difference.
I was basically thinking of installing something like Cyanogen mod on it, or completely revitalizing the OS.
I wouldn't touch the OS because I don't mind the OS. It's more like to use the Google apps, but to be honest, it's good for me because I only need the Google apps or Google Play The rest is like I don't need Google Music. I don't need Google. They're just bloatware anyways.
They're really bad anyways.
Yes.
I was a firm believer in it at start. Like I really tried.
Yeah.
I just really tried getting into it, but like it just doesn't work out, and it's so inconvenient. Not to mention the UI is terrible. It's awful to browse your music. It's just not very good.
No.
But then again, I'm very picky. I'm very finicky. I typically store all my music locally because I like to listen to FLAC and wave audio. But on the topic of that, because now I've been enjoying Sony's approach to open devices. They have this program where basically any phone has an unlocked bootloader, which is why I was considering, just plopping a custom ROM on the Huawei.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that they're pretty easy also to open up as well. So, and I like to just remove bloatware at a very, very deep level. To kind of just get my own customized experience and make sure that nothing runs in the background, and that really, really makes the battery life even longer. You've seen the battery life I get out of my phone. Yes. I want to see the same from Huawei, and I know I can get even better with Huawei because they already have really huge batteries.
Yes, and talking about the Mate 30 and Mate 30 Pro, like as you might know, the Mate X Foldable also has been.
Oh Jesus!
The next topic, that's the Mate X Foldable. I know Logan,
Qain
have been waiting on this for a while now, and seems like they have some issues with the Mate X Foldable.
Yeah, there are unfortunately some hiccups coming up here, and I was hoping that they could kind of dodge the entire debacle that Samsung has been having with their foldable device. Which is really heartbreaking to me, because to me, the Mate X is probably the best phone one could ever build. I think it's perfect from every angle. The design is uncompromised. Some people will probably argue it's risky to put the foldable display on the outside, but I baby my phones anyway. I really treat them good. And I think that they're targeting a very, very specific type of consumer.
Yes.
And I believe that I am that type of consumer. But there are so many questions hanging in the air. The durability, the folding function, they're having problems with the glass as well. Not to mention, they're stuck in Google pandemonium as well, very likely. We don't know the complete status on this.
No.
Until then, I'm watching cautiously and optimistically.
Yeah, me too. Like, I personally really like the Samsung foldable.
Did you see Linus's review of it?
Yeah, he liked it.
He was absolutely enamored by it.
Yes. It's like having a tablet in your room.
It's amazing.
But again, what I don't like about it is like you have such a huge, what's called?
What, the notch?
Yeah, the notch is so.
There's a notch on the inner side, which to me, like, they should have put all the camera gear on the outside.
Yeah, it's just like Lennon said. Like, you should, like, there's no need to have a fucking camera watching your face.
Yeah, I've always been opposed to notches, because no matter how they implement it, at some point it's gonna cover up something on your game, in your movies, or even if you're watching a website in immersive mode, it's gonna cover up parts of the UI.
So having a phone that has such a huge notch is to me so crazy. Like, why can't they just, like, it has like 6 cameras, like it has 2 on the backs, like 2 in the front and 2 inside, which is like, come on, why do you need so many cameras?
I have no idea.
Topics of cameras: Google Pixel 4 versus iPhone 11 Pro.
This is interesting, and I like that you were talking about notches just before, because I'm with Google with this one. They dropped it completely.
Yes.
I really like this approach.
But they dropped it, but the problem is it has such a huge chins.
I don't mind, because it's not covering up content.
No, that is true, but then again, I think like they should have made some other design, because I personally feel like the Google Pixel 4 looks really, really cheap, and they have been taking some really good like shortcuts to make it.
I don't like the orange one. I'll tell you that one. That looks wrong.
Just the quality, like I don't know, like the first like Google Pixel 3, everybody loved that because it had an insane camera.
Oh yeah.
And somehow they said like, no. We're gonna drop the wide angle lens.
They dropped that?
Yeah. They only have like telephoto and normal, which is like to me mind blowing, because imagine having that software from Google working with that super wide.
Now that would have
nice.
worked really well together.
Yes.
Their processing is just unparalleled.
Yes, and That's why I personally think like they've been taking so many corners to just make that phone like, hey, we have a phone here, have it, enjoy it. But maybe they will make it better for Pixel 5. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know. I will tell you this on the bezels, they could have just chopped it in half on top and put that at the bottom.
Yeah,
that would have looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Then there still would have been bezels and it would have been symmetric. So yeah, we'll see where it goes next time. But
iPhone 11. What do you think about that?
iPhone 11 Pro is an interesting phone. It still has a notch, which I'm very opposed to. That camera array though, with one bump and another bump for the 3 lenses. I don't know what they were thinking. And Steve, if you're watching this from wherever you are, I know you're rolling in your grave right now. This is not what you died for to design.
No.
Steve's design were always uncompromised.
Yes.
It was perfect from every angle. The cameras were flush with the body, and yeah, it was just unparalleled. But now they're it's interesting because now Jony Ive has left Apple, who was their primary designer for a number of years, and you can tell the difference from when Steve left and he wasn't able to kind of rein in Ive, and now Ive has just completely left, and well, here's the results. What do you think?
Sad. Like, I think that's really sad because the cameras on the iPhone 11 Pro is like really good. From
they
what
are
I've
good.
Heard. Yes,
they are good.
But the problem is like the design of the phone. I personally don't like the design for some reason. Like I don't mind the phone. I think the phone is like good for the people who are using it. Mind me, I'm using an iPad Pro.
Yeah. No bias here.
But I just don't like the they should get rid of the notch. Like they've been having the notch for like so many years. But here's the Apple one. Once they do something, they do it really, really well, and they're really innovating. But right now they've been focusing on the cameras, but the batteries are still really, really bad.
They're really, really small. You see, what I would have done just to get rid of the camera bumps is you just make the entire body that thick and fill the rest with battery.
Yes, and there's like a law when it says like when you make the phone thicker, or I think it was either thicker or longer, you would have like if it was thicker like 10%, you'd have like space for 50% more battery.
Yeah, because
which is like totally insane. Like
the way the cells align inside the package.
Yes.
As soon as you increase density, then the density doesn't just increase; it almost multiplies.
Yes. So you can basically have an iPhone. Imagine that having an iPhone 12 Pro with like 6,000 milliamp hour like battery.
Even my new phone doesn't have that much.
No, but
and that's astounding.
But imagine that. Like that would be so insane. You would never get out of like you could send so many Snapchats and so many nudes. Like just imagine that.
And have them all leak on iCloud.
Okay, don't go there. Okay. In the topics of iPhone 11, like we are also talking about the AirPods Pro.
Ooh. Now these are interesting for 2 reasons to me.
Yes.
One is that they finally gave up on their one-size-fits-all and started using silicone tips.
Yes.
Number 2, every time I meet someone who asks me, why don't you have the AirPods? Are you poor? And I'm like, no, I have these Sony XM3s, which cost twice as much. Now, very interestingly, Apple has then priced their new ones $10 more than the Sonys. I think, Bo, this is fear.
Yeah.
This is direct response to what Sony has been putting out because it does everything that they do, but it costs $10 more.
What I think about the AirPods Pro is like a lot of people are gonna buy them because it's Apple, of course.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have not tested them yet because it's kind of hard to test in-ears, which is kind of nasty.
Yeah.
But I think from what I've heard, like a lot of people are like, they think the sound quality is really good.
The sound should be very good because it has some intelligent adjustments that runs in real time. Which I think is.
It has a microphone inside.
Yeah.
Which is like totally insane. It's like when it plays the sound, the microphone.
It listens to the acoustics that's going on inside your ear canal, and then it analyzes that signal and feeds it back into the software.
So insane.
That's something I've never ever heard or seen on before. It's something special.
But again, I think the price is okay. It's not that expensive. It's in-ears.
Oh,
it's good quality.
I mean, you look at the top buds from Samsung and
iFixit rated that 0 out of 10,
0
which
out
is
of
like
10.
You can't. There's no possibility to fix those in-ears, which is like why Apple? Why are you so hard with us? Like, come on, just make it a bit easier. Or,
now, this is a topic we'll return to very
Yes.
shortly because I have a very, very big segment about
Yes.
that.
We can talk about the next topic. It's the Sony Alpha 2.
Alpha 9 Mark II has been
Yes.
released to the world.
It's insane.
Now, this is one hell of a fast camera. It's designed very specifically for sports.
Yeah.
Maximum quality at 20 frames per second. Sony has really, really been tearing up the market these
Yeah.
past few years.
The 2 last years has been amazing for Sony. Like,
Absolutely.
you have the A7 III, you have the A7 R4, now you have the A7 A9
Mark
II.
II.
So, which is like they really want to have like the something we call in Norway balletak on the market, which is like you're holding really hard on the
balls.
on the balls.
Yeah.
So they really want to have the control in the market. Like Canon is out of date, Nikon is out of date. Like there's like few other companies that can measure with Sony right now when it comes to.
I would say Sony's only weakness is the software.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indeed, absolutely. But I think they're listening. Mostly.
They're listening, and you can actually see the updates roll
Yes.
out. They are releasing new firmware pretty often.
And the price is actually not that bad, $4,500 for the body only on a professional camera.
That's
I respect
really
that.
competitive,
It's-
actually.
In Norway, I think it would be around like $5,500 with taxes and
Yeah, so we
on.
would be paying over 50,000 kroners here.
yes.
Just about. But, if you need this camera,
If you buy this camera, you are a professional already. So
Yeah.
it's an investment.
it will pay for itself.
Yes,
Just like the
basically.
Mac Pro, basically.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that
Kappa.
don't pay out, the GTX 1660 Super.
Yes. That is so. That like why? Come on, Nvidia. What are you doing? Like
That
come
is
on.
a cheap card.
It is.
I feel like it's just a response to the RX 5500. You can tell that they shoved this thing out of the door. I was watching Gamers Nexus and they took apart the card and they recognized that the cooler unit was actually reused from an earlier card.
Wow.
The VRM are barely even cooled on it. They have over 1 centimeter of thermal padding.
Oh.
All this
Yeah.
goop that they put on the RAM chips before it reaches the fan. Which means when there's so much goop, it might as well not be cooling it. I think all that heat is going to collect in there,
Yeah.
and it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
They might as well not have cooled the RAM chips. That's NVIDIA, cutting corners.
That's so sad. Like it's just basically that they're in fear of losing the market.
Absolutely.
Right now, like AMD has been so aggressive when it comes to
Very
CPUs and so on, which is like so positive for the consumer markets. Because if you look at Intel, they have been renewing the same damn chipset for the last 4 or 3 years.
They've
Like,
been stuck on 14 nanometers since
they've announced,
Gen 6.
No, they have actually announced that they would drop it. That like they
they
want.
have announced it, Mo, but it's not happening until like a year.
No.
Really?
No. Listen, they have
Okay.
announced that they will drop the 10 nanometers. They will not try to go for the 10 nanometers.
So they're skipping it.
Yes.
All right.
So I think they're just gonna renew and do the 14 nanometers while Sony is on the 7
AMD.
ARM AMD sorry
Yeah.
AMD like Sony like ARM like like Apple ARM every other competitor is on 7 nanometers.
They're really far ahead.
Which
ARM
is-
is really easy to manufacture.
But how is it that hard? Like you're Intel, you are the leading company when it comes to CPUs, and you can't do that.
It's greed, Mo, because they didn't have to. That's why.
Yeah,
They
that's the
didn't
problem.
have to.
But just listen to this. Just like
BlackBerry.
When the touch phones came out, they said no, this is.
Well,
this
they
is not-"
refused to.
Yeah,
to,
they
to
refused to
follow.
do that.
They refused.
But once the touch phones got more normal,
yeah,
people loved that more than Blackberries. And since they refused to adapt to the market or predict the market, they nearly went bankrupt.
yeah.
So I'm really worried about Intel. If they're not like stepping up their game, I think in few years, I think they might be hasta la vista.
Ooh. Well, I don't think they're gonna die, but I think they're gonna lose their market share.
Yeah, but
to,
if
to
you lose,
AMD.
like, imagine having so much. I think they will die. Like, if they're not,
Yeah.
if they're not adapting in the next 5 years,
yeah,
I'm sure, like in a 10 years time span, they will.
they will fizzle out.
Yeah, but again, they're trying to make
They are
graphics
trying.
card. They're trying to make like self-driving cars. So they're trying to invest in other aspect of the business, so they might go away from the chipsets.
The graphics card, though, I have been very, very interested in since 2009 when Larrabee was first announced.
Yeah.
Now, it's been 10 years that they've been working on this thing. And I gotta say, I'm actually a believer in Intel when it comes to graphics. I've seen what their integrated chips can do.
Yeah.
I had a laptop for a while, about 2 years ago. It had a Iris 550 card in it. And it was equal in power to something like a desktop 750 Ti, which was like astounding for how small the chip was. I think they could do a very, very good job in doing graphics.
Absolutely.
And I feel like we need a third competitor in that market because AMD and NVIDIA, it's a bit of a grim competition.
But I also think someone else will come to that market in the future.
Yeah.
Apple.
Apple
is going more for like the gaming aspects, and their like chipsets.
That's right. They even created a new API in Metal just a few years ago.
And also their CPU or their processors are more focused towards the gaming aspect that makes the games go more fluid. I think if Apple wants to go into that market, I think they will have a great big share. But that's just speculations, to be honest.
Would you buy a graphic card based on the Bionic chip from Apple?
Yeah.
Would you?
Yeah. To be honest, it's the Bionic chip is actually so fluent, it's so good.
Yeah.
But depending on the price, because I'm not gonna buy. I'm not gonna pay $5,000 for a graphics card. Oh hell no.
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, on the topic of Apple versus the right to repair.
So, a New York repair store manager, Louis Rossmann, has been in court now for several weeks. This is an ongoing case about Apple versus the right to repair. You see, Apple has this little habit of putting their logos and everything on every little component that goes into their phone, which means that each part is copyrighted, which makes importing them illegal. Now, Louis Rossmann in court has been arguing that this kind of practice should be
legal.
It should be legal because everyone has the right to repair their own devices.
Illegal.
Yeah. You have the right to repair your car. You have the right to repair your computer. You have the right to repair your TV. It's so easy to change a power supply in whatever you have nowadays. But Apple has been very, very strongly fighting against this.
But it's so bad for the environment. It's so bad for the consumerism. Like you basically want the people to buy everything from you.
Yeah.
And if I come to Apple and say, hey, I broke my iPad, they say like, okay, we can't fix that. You have to buy a new one. It's like, what?
What? It's just a screen. I broke the screen.
Yes. No. We have to change the chassis. We have to change the motherboard. We have to. Come on, bro.
We need to polish the logo. It's not shiny enough for our standards.
No, but that's. I really hope Apple loses this case because it's really bad for the environment and. It's really bad for consumerism.
It's really bad for consumers.
Because this means that if they win, we can't repair anything ourselves, and if we do, we are criminals.
That would be it. Can you imagine it being illegal to repair your own items just because the departure?
Just don't buy it. Like if they win, just don't fucking buy it.
Just don't buy it.
Yeah. Boycott them. Like there's no need to. We're not their slaves. So
no. Well, we have choices. The market is expanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
So absolutely, I think I really hope Apple loses this case.
Yeah,
because it's kind of really bad for us.
It's bad for us all. Well, except for Apple.
They make skrillas. Okay,
things that are coming up in the future. PlayStation 5 next year.
Oh,
now, this is going to be exciting. So it's actually going to be one of the first Sony consoles for a very long time to be backwards compatible from the get-go, which means that from launch you have a library.
Can you play PlayStation 3 and 4 games?
That's going to be the big question. Now, 4 has been guaranteed, but 3 is the very difficult one because the PlayStation 3 came with this very, very exotic processor called the Cell.
Okay.
And now this thing was based on PowerPC, which is a very, very old architecture, but it's very, very powerful once you specialized it.
Okay.
It was actually one of the first CPUs in the world to have 7 cores. in
wow.
yeah, I know, right? And this was in 2005.
Wow.
So and they're all very, very fast, running at 3.2 gigahertz.
Wow.
I know, right? Unheard of in this time, because this architecture allowed for them to customize the CPU to create this kind of load. Now, the problem with PowerPC is that it's very, very difficult to program for, which we happen to know because Apple used to have all of their computers be in PowerPC format, but they moved away from that format to go to Intel and x86, which Sony would later also do with the PlayStation 4. So whether or not you can translate that kind of instruction set into x86,
that's another question.
That's another question entirely. Speaking of PlayStation,
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding. Now this is a game.
I'm really looking forward for it, to be honest. Like,
do you play adventure games a lot, Mo?
I do.
Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah, I
I
find
thought you were mostly
relaxing.
esports and stuff
Yes,
like that.
I do. I do mostly esports and stuff,
Yeah.
but I find it if I like the concept of the game, like the Death Stranding, for example. I've been always like a fan of Metal Gear Solid, and
Now you're talking to me.
Yes.
Oh my god.
I've been always fan of that. So the
Yeah.
Death Stranding, I think I will. Do you think it comes to PC?
It will come to PC almost a year later.
Oh wow!
So they have an exclusivity deal, which since Sony was part of the development, they supplied the engine and they supplied some
Everything,
staff from their Guerrilla Games department.
Yeah.
But it will be coming to PC eventually, which will be very exciting because then we can really start to knock up those graphics a notch. Now it is running pretty well on the PS4 Pro, but a console never beats a PC.
No. But again, it's kind of weird to say, but I'm looking forward to PlayStation 5. Maybe it does, you know?
Yeah.
Because maybe they have to they're driving a 2080 Ti concept or something. You know, you never know.
They're throwing some things around there. Now I've been seeing some numbers being thrown out, like between 10 to 16 teraflops of performance power.
It's insane.
That's shockingly high.
Absolutely.
Now 10 I wouldn't be so very happy about, but if we can hit like 12 to 16, I'll be alright with that.
Yeah.
That's twice as much as the Xbox One X.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now on the next topic, maybe
Exclusive streamers.
Yeah, we know that Ninja and Shroud went to Mixer
Yeah.
because Mixer gave them the opportunity to stream without being worrying about like viewership numbers and blah blah blah. And we thought like the fight was between Twitch and Mixer, but suddenly the big boy YouTube comes in and like signs Courage. From Twitch, like now Courage is it's official now that Courage is the streamer of YouTube.
Yeah.
I think this is gonna be a big battle between these three companies. Yet Twitch hasn't responded with anything. Like they have not signed any exclusive deals with any of their big names on the platform. And but here's the thing:
Logan. Qain.
Okay.
Pistol.
in 5 years time, I actually think YouTube will take over the streaming market.
You think so?
Yeah.
Because I have never ever once in my life used YouTube gaming.
I haven't either, but maybe this is something that will make you like. Their goal is not to make you switch platforms, but their goal is to make other young kids to switch platforms. See?
Right. So they're aiming for the next generation.
They're aiming for the next generation.
Now that's a good plan.
So I think this generation is kind of lost for their part. So they're gonna focus on getting the upcoming generation to focus more on YouTube gaming and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Speaking of generational leaps, Red Dead Redemption lands on PC, and it is a is a whole generation ahead of its console compartments. So harshly so that even a 2080 Ti only lands 80 FPS in 1080p, not in 4K, and this is with everything turned up to maximum. So you can imagine how much more detailed they made the game for PC to make even a 2080 Ti bend its knees. What do you think of that?
I have a 1080 Ti, bro, which is wow. Just like everything, you just have to give it a try and let it be good over time.
Speaking of Red Dead Redemption, it's actually news to me that you play action adventure. So what's your favorite game? You did mention Metal Gear.
Yes.
Well, that's a patrician choice.
I love like games where I explore a lot.
Yeah.
I, for example, played the Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are great games.
Yeah, I really enjoyed like the storyline. I think that's the last adventure game I played actually.
Yeah.
So
I've actually really been enjoying Shadow of the Tomb Raider lately.
Yes,
I started,
that was the one
I started playing that again.
Yeah.
Now it's been out for I think a year or something, but I just picked it up again because I never finished it. I really like this game.
Yeah, me too. I also like the new Call of Duty.
Ooh, now that one I haven't had my hands on, but it looks really nice.
The graphics is good, the gameplay is fine, but
yeah,
you should try that.
Yeah, I should. I was a really big fan of the original Modern Warfare trilogy and Black Ops right after that. I think they're really good stories, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
Good stories. Favorite games.
Awesome. I think we just wrap it up today. What happened?
Oh, hi.
What happened?
Oh, we're in the studio. Right. Yeah. This is Wendell signing off. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching the show. Bye.